What kind of community are you in? Community. Community is everything. And that's what we want to talk about this morning. We've been drilling down deep on the life of Paul. And this morning we want to talk about Paul and community. Good morning, Pamela. How are you on this morning? How are you? We have community here. We call our community the Morning Manna Fam. The Morning Manna Fam. That's our community, Joel. And this morning I want to talk about the connection of Paul and the community that he was in. Good morning, Angela. How are you on this morning? I want to deal with community. And it's going to be the text to talk and the takeaway. Lydia, you already know what it's going to be. We want to share it. Now, what I want to ask you to do is to put in the chat area as we wait for others to gather. Put in the chat area, how many communities are you involved with? How many communities are you involved with? The number of communities that you're involved with, and list them. List the communities that you are involved with. Good morning, Bobby. How are you on this morning? Sharon, how are you? Tally, how are you all on this morning? As you know, we've been dealing with Paul and drilling down deep on Paul's life and saying, what does it take? Now, yesterday, I said we oftentimes look at Acts 16 and 21 or so, when Paul and Silas are in the prison and they sing praises and pray, and it shakes the very foundation of the prison. And the walls shake and the doors fly open, and the church at Philippi is born because the jailer then gives his life to Christ, so on and so forth. Well, I made the point yesterday, and I want to continue to drill down on this today. I made the point yesterday that without Silas, there's no Paul. Without Silas, there's no Paul. Let's keep talking about that this morning. The text to talk, the takeaway, community. The text is this. Romans 16, Romans 16, 3 through 16. Romans 16, 3 through 16. I'll read just a few words of the very beginning. Greet Andronicus, Junia, and Ampliatus. Here is Paul, who from verses 3 through 16 in the 16th chapter of Romans greets 25 people. 25 people. Now, let me give you a little bit of sense of what a letter, a Greek letter, looks like during biblical times. We oftentimes say at the very beginning of the letter, dear so-and-so, greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We address the people that we're talking to first in the letter. That's not the way letters were written during biblical times. You launch right into what you were talking about, and at the end of the letter is when you would then greet whomever the letter was being written to. So Paul writes this letter, and then he says to them in Romans, 25 people who are a part of his community. There are three things that I want you to grab as a result of Paul being in community and what it does. The first thing is this: community creates accountability. Community creates accountability. One of the things that is so difficult for us to overcome and break out of is how the pandemic has impacted community. We've made the mistake that watching alone brings me into community. It's a little small sliver, if you will. But community is created when we are together. That is why the Old Testament uses the word assembly or congregation, coming together. Because when you come together, it creates accountability. You're less likely to do something wrong when you know you have to look at somebody else in the face. But when you are left to yourself, you will do what you want to do. And then you have no one to hold you accountable just by the sheer greeting one another on a Sunday morning. It's amazing what that does. Community creates accountability. Paul says, I have community. I've addressed it at least 25 people in Romans 16, 3 through 16. Here is the second thing I want you to grab, and that is this. It causes care. Community creates care. When I am in community, whether it's my family, whether it's my job, whether it's my class at school, whether it's a group of people, there's a sense of caring that takes place in community. I sense it, I feel it. Why? Because I can discern it on the faces of others. Community creates accountability and causes care to be created in the midst of the community. Here is the third thing. Community causes us to go after a common goal. A common goal. You can be great, but you can't be great by yourself. You can be a wonder, as we say, but you can't be a wonder by yourself. You're always going to have to be in a community that is attached to common goals. I want you to notice what God does in the Old Testament when he gets ready to bless Abraham. He says, I'm not going to just bless you by yourself. I'm going to bless you in community. Moses, I'm not going to just take you to the promised land, you and Joshua and Caleb, but I'm going to take the children of Israel into the promised community. It's common goals. Common goals creates the strength of us having a commonality. Let me walk through it one more time and then we'll give you the takeaway. Community causes an accountability that has been impacted by a pandemic because we feel as if I don't have to be in community. By being in church, I can watch. Second, it causes us to care because I am in a group of people who I can discern on their faces and the embraces around me that they care. And it causes me to be in a common goal. They went, not just one person, to the promised land. What's your takeaway this morning? Your takeaway is this. I want to ask you the question. What kind of communities are you involved with? What kind of communities are you involved with? The Lord be with you, his face shine upon you, and give you peace. We're going to continue to drill down deep on Paul's life on tomorrow morning when we close it out. Share the manna, because we are the Manna Fam community. The Lord bless you.